What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here is Legitical Response. I cover political news, and I'm covering some political news today. As a matter of fact, I know that was kind of weird, but alright, so Jack Smith, let's get it, alright, just get it out of the way. Jack Smith is deranged, right? He's one of these people that when you go and talk to him, you talk about tax policy or something like that. Somehow he'll get around to Donald Trump is the reason for anything that ails you, right? Like, these people are just deranged. He's going after Donald Trump. He got his court case, the documents case, obliterated by Eileen Cannon. She looked up the statutes. Oh, come to find out, he was misappropriating stuff. Oh, how about that? Look, well, special counsels are unconstitutional. Right now, she could have dismissed the case, or, yeah, I ain't gonna say dismiss the case, but there's no way he could have won upon standing, right? All the impropriety that was going on with that case should have been dismissed, but, you know, whatever, take it to court. She didn't want to seem biased, but you get to looking into some of this stuff, and the documents case is one of the most insane court cases I think I've ever seen. Now, once again, folks, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't look into the history of court cases, of course. But once again, I have a good friend that is a lawyer. And once I brought this stuff to him, because he don't pay attention to politics, or at least he didn't. He looked at this case and was like, wow, this is outright crazy. And then that was before all the impropriety stuff, the Jack Smith mishandling the very classified documents he was charging Donald Trump for mishandling. Just insanity going on with that, right? Like, it just blows my mind. But let's get into the story. I guess you know what it's about. Jack Smith urges appeals court to revive Trump docs case, defends his special counsel position. Yeah, that's right. Special counsel Jack Smith urged a federal appeals court on Monday to revive his classified documents case against former President Donald Trump. District Court Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, dismissed Trump's case in July after ruling that Smith's appointment violated both the Appointments Clause and Appropriations Clause of the Constitution. Smith argued that the lower court's decision needlessly cast doubt on long-standing practices in the Department of Justice and across the executive branch. Now, just because you have a long-standing practice that falls outside the Constitution doesn't mean that you can just continue to do it once we realize, hey, that violates the Constitution. Let's not do this anymore, right? Because, once again, justice is supposed to be blind. That's why you see those statues of that lady with a blindfold and she's got the scales in her hand, right? That means justice is supposed to be blind. That means everybody is equal under the law. Nobody is above the law. And if it's found that this violates the Constitution, yeah, you're stepping outside of the law here. So, yeah, we need to rectify this. And Eileen Cannon made the right choice here, I believe. Because that case outright was just BS to begin with. There was no need for the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago, for crying out loud. Right? They had a case they could have brought to court to fight over who gets the documents. But instead of going to court to fight Trump on those documents, they sick the FBI on the guy, then charge him with espionage, for crying out loud, over this. Which they were dropped. I'll give them that. But they charged him with mishandling of classified documents. Like, if he's going to be charged with mishandling the classified documents, at least prove that he mishandled them. But instead, what does Jack Smith do? He goes down to Mar-a-Lago and makes up fake news. Gets the FBI to make up these cover sheets. Then they take classified documents out of storage, take them out of the boxes, throw them all over the ground, put the cover sheets on them, then take a picture, then accidentally leak that picture to the corporate press. Yeah, if you tell me that's not impropriety, I've got a bridge to sell you in Los Angeles. No, as a matter of fact, in Phoenix. I've got a bridge in Phoenix to sell you. The Attorney General validly appointed the special counsel, who has also properly funded Smith's opening brief filed with the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, states, yeah, the appointment might have been appropriate, right? Because, yeah, that's how they do it. That's how they've been doing it. But that doesn't mean that it's legal under the Constitution. That's what Eileen Cannon found. Once again, just because you've been doing something you shouldn't have been doing for years doesn't mean you should continue to be able or be allowed to do this anymore. That's what Eileen Cannon found. These people are deranged, folks. In ruling otherwise, the district court deviated from binding Supreme Court precedent, misconstrued the statutes that authorized the special counsel's appointment, and took inadequate account of the long-standing history of the Attorney General appointments of the special counsel. Now, most of that argument is null and void. The only one is misconstrued the statutes that authorize the special counsel's appointment. I would like to see those statutes. I haven't looked them up. I'm sorry for not researching those statutes. But isn't that what a judge is supposed to do? Right? Judges interpretate law. That was her interpretation. Deal with it, Jack Smith. Sorry. You can't just go after this guy just because you want to go after this guy. And then to make it look like equal justice under the law, like the Justice Department isn't weaponized against Donald Trump. You get this special counsel's office that's supposed to be independent, but it's not. Just look into Jack Smith's history. He's got a very poor history, by the way. He's a radical left Democrat. That's all that needs to be said. So you're going to get somebody that's quote-unquote independent, but yet you're going to find a radical left Democrat to go after a Republican president. Right? What Supreme Court precedent, by the way, has there ever been for a special counsel to go after a president? A former president. Well, let's put it that way. Put it grammatically correct. There's never been precedent like that. So what are they talking about, Supreme Court precedent? You're talking about precedent with other people who aren't former presidents? Yeah, I don't think that has any standing with logic, by the way. Smith's brief argues that Cannon erred by focusing only on the statutes that follow one particular pattern while failing to acknowledge the vesting and delegation pattern that Congress has used to grant appointment power to the heads of some of the oldest and largest departments in the executive branch. Cannon's conclusion would raise questions about hundreds of appointments throughout the executive branch, including in the Department of Defense, State, Treasury, and Labor, according to Smith. So what? So what? Maybe if it fell outside of the Constitution, then yes, maybe we need to look into this. Maybe we need to say, hey, how about let's just stop doing this from now on? Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a concurring opinion that questioned the constitutionality of Smith's appointment in July when the Supreme Court ruled on presidential immunity. Oh, imagine that. A Supreme Court justice, the highest court in the land. As a matter of fact, in the world, I do believe. Now, that may be a little bit hyperbolic, but the highest court in the United States, regardless, concurred with that opinion, that special counsels fall outside of constitutional authority. So what does that mean? Do we need concurring from every judge in the land to make a judgment in this case? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. In this case, the Attorney General purported to appoint a private citizen as special counsel to prosecute a former president on behalf of the United States, he wrote. But I am not sure that any office for the special counsel has been established by law as the Constitution requires. Sounds pretty cut and dry to me. Sounds pretty cut and dry to me. But, once again, this would be one of those things where you would need to go look into this yourself. And hang on, there's a lot there. There's a whole lot there to look into special counsels. But if you think about it, okay, so the DOJ is going to hire a citizen with a background in law, of course, to go after another citizen. Does that not sound fishy to you guys? Let me know down in the comment section. Right? Does that not sound like somebody sicking somebody else on somebody else? That's what it sounds like to me. Especially when you have a president who we know has the plenary power to declassify any freaking document that he wants to. He can declassify anything. He wants to classify these documents as presidential records and take them home with him. I do believe he has the right to do that. He was the only person that had the authority under the Constitution, by the way, to be able to do that. Who is Jack Smith to then come in, get appointed by the DOJ, and say, no, you can't do that? And then sick the FBI on him? Something about the documents case is just fishy as hell to me. Once again, this was the entire reason I got back behind Donald Trump. Right? I saw these indictments coming out. I saw this one, and I'm like, I thought in my head, like, doesn't the president have the ability to declassify records? So I looked into it. Sure enough, I was right about that. Yes, he does. So hang on. How come he can't take... So I looked into it. Every president takes home presidential records. So what's the blood clot with Donald Trump? Why is he the only one getting raided by the FBI? Why are they coming and taking his records from him by force? What did he have? But we can't know what he had, right? If he had some sort of nuclear secrets, like how our ICBMs are built or something like that, like why would he have that in the first place? But if he did have something like that, then we need to know that. We need to at least know that he had documents that he shouldn't have. However, we don't know that. We don't know what documents he had. Now, they'll tell you, he had stuff he shouldn't have. But was it nuclear secrets? MSNBC will get out there and tell you that. Oh, yeah, and by the way, look, get this. This is what MSNBC is trying to propagandize their viewers with. Watch this load of BS.
Dave, let's start with the January the 6th case and why Jack Smith now seems to be slow peddling, I think is that a word, slow peddling, the production of pretrial evidence. Why wouldn't he want people to know this before the election?
Caddy, slow pedaling, slow walking, I'll go with it. Jack Smith may not want the defense to see his cards. He may not want the defense to see the witnesses, be better prepared for the ultimate trial that'll happen if Trump is not elected. And so that may be part of it. He also may want to protect his witnesses like Mike Pence from being harassed, but from being threatened by the MAGA world. Mike Pence would have to take the stand in this mini trial. He also may want to protect Donald Trump from having a Sixth Amendment violation where he loses his right to a fair trial because Jack Smith has tainted the jury pool. And if that happens, then an appellate court could throw the whole thing out. There are some people saying that Jack Smith and Merrick Garland don't want to look political. That's why they're not doing this, because it's so close to the election. That's not a good reason to avoid doing this, because whether you do it or you don't, you're going to be called political. The MAGA world's going to say you're weaponizing the Department of Justice. So go ahead and follow the evidence in the law and do it. Whether you decide to do it or not should not be based on politics. If you choose not to decide, you'll still have made a choice. That's my favorite quote from Neil Peart, the drummer for Rush, and that applies here in this matter.
You like how he says that, he may not want the defense to see his cards. Well, there's this little thing called due process. And within due process, there's this thing called discovery, where you, as a defendant, you get to look and see everything you're being accused of. You get to see all the evidence. So what is this guy even talking about? Once again, these people are deranged, thinking that the prosecutor can withhold evidence from people. And protecting Mike Pence from people harassing Mike Pence, as if people don't harass other people? Like, what? Once again, this is nothing but propaganda coming from MSNBC. Him saying, oh, they don't want to be political about this, that's BS, man. That is outright BS. They have been nothing but political. The Department of Justice has been weaponized. Once you look into these cases, you can see that it's freaking clear as day. Once you see all the lies of the corporate press, you can see it's freaking clear as day. My eyes have been opened, y'all, right? These people are just deranged. That's all it is, folks. Don't believe the lies. Don't believe the BS coming from the corporate press. Don't believe the BS unless you have the facts right in front of your face. If you get the facts and it says Donald Trump is guilty, then you believe the facts. Then you believe that, yes, Donald Trump is absolutely guilty. But until then, until you see the facts, until you see all the evidence laid out in front of you, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to believe your BS. Because you people are deranged. You people make up stuff constantly about this dude. And I can't believe that these people are making me defend Donald Trump. Right? I'm being forced to get out here and sound like some MAGA chud that's over here just vehemently defending Donald Trump. Right? That's not what I want to be. I got genuine criticisms of Donald Trump. There's stuff that he does that I don't like. Right? Like, should he have held that rally January 6th? No, he probably shouldn't have, looking back on it now. But before that, yeah, he has every right to do that. He has every single right to hold a rally whenever he is permitted. But, once again, looking back, playing Monday quarterback. Monday morning quarterback, sorry. Yeah, you can look at that and say, yeah, that probably wasn't a good idea. Does he need some more decorum? Yes, he does. He's like a bull in a china shop sometimes. But when you're dealing with the federal government, we do need a human hand grenade, for crying out loud. That Molotov cocktail, a human Molotov cocktail just thrown at the establishment. We do need that. We need that more than ever right now. And that's one reason why I'm backing Donald Trump. Is there a better pick? Yes. I would much rather a Vivek Ramaswamy. Somebody like that. Somebody who has the decorum, has the air of class about him, that's presidential looking. Put it that way, has that X factor. Looks like a good, upstanding citizen. Somebody who doesn't cuss, things like that. Just a good guy, clean cut, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think that's what we need, but that's not what we're getting, folks. It's way better than anything that the Democrats are putting out there. And all they're putting out there is they get to pick who they want for you to vote for. Now, instead of you picking who you want to vote for, like the Republicans did in the primary, yeah, Republicans chose Donald Trump. Let me know, if you're a Democrat, did you get to choose Kamala Harris? No, you didn't. But I think I've blah, 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 blah on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. This stuff, this kind of crap blows my mind. But, it's to be expected from these people. They've been getting away with this crap for so freaking long. They're like, oh, well, it's a long-standing tradition of going after our political opponents, for crying out loud. Illegally, by the way. Outside of the Constitution. Yeah, right. Stop it. It's got to stop someday. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.